Really?
They have no accountability. Everybody knows credit reports are riddled with errors. There's 3 different organizations. If you pull your credit report from all 3, they'll have 3 different things. Everyone knows this, but yet it's the standard at which you are judged in our society.
Which is interesting in itself. Why is
Which
that?
is pathetic, actually, that it's all about the money. But with my situation, it's got to such an extreme, and this is something I had no idea they could do this. These people seized my checking account. They stole every dime that I had out of the bank.
How were they able to do that?
The collection agency called the sheriff's department and says, we have a judgment against this person for this amount of money. She banks at Wells Fargo.
What?
They go down there with a piece of paper. Wells Fargo has to give them every dime I have in the bank. They don't have to tell me they're doing it. They don't have to send me any kind of notification.
Oh my gosh.
They're thieves in the night. And of course they did it on the 1st of the month. When
rent's due, of
my
course.
rent is in the bank, my health insurance, my car payment, my car insurance. They stole every dime that I had. And this is the part that just incites me to no end. I had all these automatic payments come in. Well, so they show up at the bank with their paper that says, give us her money. Wells Fargo said she has $700 in the bank, whatever it was. But then all my things came in. Wells Fargo paid them all out.
And then you get
then gave them the $700, then charged me overdraft fees, and came after me for the money that they had paid out. Then they sent a collection agency after me.
It's just a big snowball effect.
Well, you've got to be kidding me.
Did you take that up with Wells Fargo?
Yep.
What'd they say?
Well, you know, we just do what the court says. The court says we had to give them the money. And I said, well, yeah, but you can't give them all my money and then pay out my legitimate debts and then expect me to pay twice. You can't do that.
Plus
and they're like,
you're paying for overdraft fees every time.
$33 a pop. And then every day you're over, it's another $5. I owe Wells Fargo, I don't know, $700 for them letting someone steal my money.
How does this happen?
And it
I'm
just,
like, how does this happen?
It just, like I said, every time I tried to do something, it just got worse.
And that's just it, is like, if I was in that situation, I'd be doing the exact same thing. I'd be thinking, okay, fine, lawyer's not going to take care of it, I'll take care of it myself.
I'm an intelligent person,
yeah,
I can do this. Out.
I'll dig my heels in, and I'll be like, okay, fine, this is what I'll do. Yeah. And you just feel like every time you turn around, there's nothing. Okay, what else can go wrong? And then
I called the collection agency, and they're like, how can I help you today? I'm like, yeah, you stole my money, and I would like it back. I have like bills
That's
that
how
I
you can help me, thank you.
And after a rather heated discussion, where I did not yell and scream, and I certainly didn't call anybody any names, this lovely woman hung up on me. So I called back and asked to speak to her supervisor, and I got his voicemail, because conveniently he was in a meeting, and he never returned the call. I called these people every day for 2 weeks, demanding to speak to somebody.
Right.
I do not want to talk to this woman who hung up on me, because I will not be disrespected over something that I'm just trying to resolve.
Right.
I'm trying to resolve this, because now if I open another bank account, they can seize that. If I had room on my credit cards, which my credit cards have like training wheels on them, you know, I have like a $600 limit. If I had money, they could charge it on my credit card. This collection agency
can charge it?
They can do these things.
Then you have to pay interest on?
They can put a levy on your home. They can block you from selling your home. They can garnish your wages. They can get you in trouble with your employer.
So how do you get out of it?
The only thing you can do is pay the debt or declare bankruptcy. Those are the only 2 things you can do.
But bankruptcy, nobody wants to declare bankruptcy. That just sounds so negative.
It does, but oddly enough, its name is bankruptcy protection. You're actually filing with the court in order to be protected from your creditors because they're unfair or they're unreasonable and they're debts you can't pay, and that's why we have bankruptcy. It's for people who get to this kind of a point, whether it's through their own fault or not. You know, a lot of times it's medical bills with people. Somebody gets sick, they lose their job, you have $70,000 worth of medical bills. What are you going to do? So I got all these letters in the mail after this judgment was served on me. And there were all these lawyers saying, you know, we can help you, we can stop the levies, we can stop this and whatever. And you call them thinking these people are actually going to help you.
Right.
And all they say is, yeah, you filed bankruptcy, you pay us $600, and that's what. I'm like, no, you said debt elimination, you said negotiation with creditors, you said all these things in your letter. They're like, yeah, but no.
Bankruptcy.
Do you want to file Chapter 7 or Chapter 11?
What's the difference?
One of them is like a partial, it's not really a partial bankruptcy. I know it was explained to me. One of them stays on your credit for 7 years, one of them stays on for 10 years. In a situation that I'm in, you know, should I do this, I don't want to lose my car.
Right.
And I do not want to screw the bank that gave me my car loan.
Right.
Because they've been very patient and very understanding. It's my small hometown bank, and I just think they're great. And they said, no, you can keep your car as long as it's a reasonable car. You know, if it's a Jag or something,
Yeah, then no.
then they're going to say no. But as long as you continue to make the payments, you know, that debt doesn't go away, but you don't. And that's how people are able to keep their homes with bankruptcy and
Right.
reasonable things. You need a car to have a job.
Right.
You need a job to get out of debt.
You need a house.
You
So
need
are
a house to live
are
in.
you declaring bankruptcy? Is that what you're thinking of doing? Kind of in limbo?
Well, for me, you know, being from New England, I don't know if it's like this in other parts of the country, but we have this thing, I believe my grandfather used to call it the intestinal fortitude, you know, where you just never say die and you don't give in and you don't quit and there's a
keep
way to
going,
do
yes.
stuff and you can fight things and you can make things right.
But the problem is with something like this, it not only is it frustrating, but it takes up so much time, so much energy, so much effort, and you feel like, okay, but it's not getting resolved. And then
Right.
you put in all that stuff again and again and again, and you're like, I'm not seeing the end.
And now you don't have any legitimate way to bank.
Right.
You have
That's
to
true.
cash your paycheck at one of those check cashing places and pay them a 10% fee.
Oh, yeah.
You have to get money orders to pay your
Pay
bills,
bills.
or pay them in cash. I mean, you're
That's-
living sort of this very like subterfuge-ish kind of existence,
Exactly.
feeling like a criminal when you didn't do anything. And so I've talked to a couple of people that have filed bankruptcy, and they say, you know what, you get a fresh start. They have a hearing.
Right.
Anybody that you owe money to can show up and contest your bankruptcy if they think you're hiding assets or they think you're just not paying
Right.
or anything like that. They can show up, and if nobody does, or even if they do and the judge says no, I mean, clearly she has nothing,
Look.
then it all gets wiped clean. It all goes away, and there's just this like that you filed on your credit report. But oddly enough, what people tell me is because you can't file again for another 7 years,
Right.
you suddenly become a very good credit risk.
That sounds interesting.
And you can usually, within a year, you'll be extending credit cards. You'll get notices right away. And within a year, you can buy a car, and within 2 to 3 years,
Because
you
they
can buy a
know that
house.
you'll have to pay
Well, and you've been able to disassociate yourself. I mean,
from all that.
a lot of kids get credit cards in college.
Yeah, they do.
I got credit cards in
Me.
college, and it was really dumb. You
Yeah.
get a $3,000 limit, and you think, wow, I'll just treat everybody to
Woo!
pizza,
Yeah.
and you know, I'll fly home for Christmas. I don't need to drive. I mean, you're immature. You're 18, 19 years old. These mistakes are still on your credit report.
And they follow you. What do you want people to know out there? What do you want people to learn from what's happened to you?
Well, first of all, just get rid of the shame. You know, I think that that's something in our culture that if you can't pay your debts and you can't cover your bills, that it's almost like, you know, having some other kind of disability.
Right.
You know, that you want to hide
That's
from
true.
it. It's embarrassing. You don't want to talk about it to people. You don't ask for help from people that have been through it. You know, and, you know, not everybody that sends you a letter in the mail claiming to help you is obviously
gonna
going to help
help.
you. And you do have to, even if you hire somebody to take care of the problem,
You still have
it's
to
your
follow
problem.
Yeah.
The lawyer is not going to own that problem like you are, and if you need to call him every day to say, what are you doing, what are you doing, what are you doing, then you need to do your due diligence on that, which, you know, again, and this whole thing with, you know, if you ever get served, call somebody, call a lawyer, go to a legal help center, do
Get help.
something, because here I am thinking I could handle it on my own, and clearly
You can't.
I couldn't.
Thanks, Kimmy, for sharing your story.
Sure.
Thanks for joining us today. And if you have any questions about Kimmy, her experience, or the show today, please email me in the email that follows. And keep in mind, don't be afraid, don't be ashamed of what's going on. Thanks for joining us today on Jessica.